Hey, good morning. How y'all doing? It is Well Red Beard. It's a damn fine day to talk about a book. And today we're here for a book review and we are going to talk about the horror classic Dracula by Bram Stoker. Now, I read this back in the day. Don't know exactly when. I just know that I read it. But I wanted to reread it because I recently have kind of fallen in love with these Barnes and Noble exclusive editions here. Hold on. I mean, the end papers of that. So, yeah, I love these floppy leather or faux leather or whatever they are editions. I've got this. I'm going to turn the computer. I've got the purple one up there. Is the picture of Dorian Gray. And then right there is Frankenstein. So, those are the three that I have. So, because I got Frankenstein because that was a first read for me. But when I got this, I was like, I really want to reread it. I've never reviewed Dracula. I've never talked about this book, and I love this edition. So, whatever. Here we are. I mean, what I will say is that I didn't have like a lot of trouble with the language, like I thought I would. And I would have also told you going into this, after having read Frankenstein for a first time, that I preferred Dracula to Frankenstein. I don't think that's the case anymore. I mean, on a reread of this, I don't think I liked it as much as Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but it is what it is. I mean, most of you probably know the gist of this tale. I've recently also rewatched the film version of this, which I really, really love. Like, I love the film version of this, and I mean, I'm not gonna say the film is better than the book. I've only done that a few times in my life, The Shining. But I really like the film version. Of course, it's the all-star cast, and Keanu Reeves. I really like Keanu Reeves. He's the only kind of downside in that film, in my opinion. But Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins and Winona Ryder, and just a really killer cast and a great film, in my opinion. But I'd recently watched the film and then I reread this, and so like things that strayed from the film to me were a bit of a, I wouldn't want to call it a turn off, but in the film, there's this real attraction between Mina Harker and Count Dracula. Like, he when he comes to London, he, you know, is a younger version of himself, and there is a relationship there. And I know part of it's probably the vampire magic, right? Like the vampire um hypnosis or whatever you want to call it, but it doesn't really go into that. Like she is somewhat in love with Count Dracula, and that part like does not happen in the book. That's not a part of this. So again, the gist: Jonathan Harker, Keanu Reeves in the movie is going to Transylvania, going to Castle Dracula to close a real estate deal, um, where Dracula is buying up a property in London proper, or some around London. And so he goes all the way out there to do it. Soon realizes he's trapped. He's basically being held prisoner. Runs into three seductive vampire s's, vampire ladies that try to have their way with him, but Dracula stops that from happening. But um, Dracula takes off, like loads himself and 50 boxes of grave dirt, 50 boxes of Transylvanian vampire dirt, I guess, onto a ship and then sails for London. And Harker has to basically scale the castle walls to escape. And it all comes, then we go to London, and Lucy, who is Mina's friend. Really quick, Mina, I don't think when I first saw the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I don't think I knew that Mina Harker was, the female character in Dracula, which that's kind of cool. Just a little side note there. But anyway, Lucy's friend, she has three. proposals, 3 marriage proposals. She has to choose one. She's very upset about that, having to, you know, reject 2 of these suitors. But anyway, so she chooses one, but she just slowly starts to degrade, slowly starts to get sick, and you know, they've given her 4 blood transfusions, and still, you know, she's not improving. Anyway, Lucy eventually dies, and Van Helsing, you know, our famous vampire killer, Van Helsing, and these 3 dudes who are her shooters, and Jonathan and Mina eventually get involved, but are trying to. Well, first of all, they go to the grave of Lucy, and they finish her off, because Van Helsing's like, you know, she's a vampire now, you know, and we can't just let her be undead, you know. So they handle her in a very, very brutal way, and then basically set out to destroy Count Dracula, trying to track down these 50 boxes of Transylvanian prime soil, and destroy those, thus cutting off his ability to rest, to protect himself during the day or whatever. So you know, there's a lot of, I feel, wasted text here. Like, you know, we really spend a lot of time in that, in the Lucy part, in the tracking down the dirt boxes, and you know, and then so when we get to the climax, which is them basically chasing Count Dracula down to his castle, and taking care of the 3 seductive vampiresses, and you know, sealing the entryways to the castle with, you know, sacred objects, and then tracking down Dracula, like, all that seems to happen really, really fast. Yeah, I just felt like there was a lot of wasted text. Now, I did think that I was going to have trouble with the language. I may have already mentioned this. I feel like I've already mentioned this, but I didn't. I didn't have any trouble with the language in the book, and it got monotonous and a bit sloggy at parts. But you know, it's a horror classic. It's not the first vampire book. I did a little research on that, and of course, luckily, since I'm shooting a film or a video now, I don't remember what I, you know, discovered was the first instance of a vampire in fiction. I wish I did. I wish I remembered, because I did the work to get that information for you, but now I don't have it. But yeah, I think I recognize the importance of it, the classic. I mean, I said a lot of these same things about Frankenstein, and I think I gave Frankenstein 3 stars. Now, I am probably at 3 stars on Dracula as well, but a lower 3 stars than Frankenstein. But cool edition. Love the red leather. Love the black. What do you call that? I don't know what you call that. The black, the painted edges or whatever, and the end papers are just awesome. Got the ribbon. These editions are awesome. Now, I wish that they'd make more of them with more horror adjacent type stuff. You know, the other ones that they have are like Jane Austen and this and that. And I may eventually read that type of stuff, but not yet. So yeah, 3 stars, Dracula. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying all your books, all of them, as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.